Welcome back to Die Sexy, the podcast that talks about all there is to achieve ultimate health and vitality. Your host, longevity specialist Adrian Smith, will bring you an integrated approach to the human body.
Hello, everyone. This is Adrian Smith with Die Sexy Podcast, coming at you again with a great episode. I am here with Jennifer La Salle from Hardcore Fitness in Cali. This girl's amazing. She's a rock star on top of being gorgeous. She's going to share some things with us that are kind of cool. Some of the stuff that I have yet to talk about on this podcast, which is a little bit of the competing that I've done on bodybuilding stage. And we're going to tie it all together as to what we've kind of done, what we've experienced, the types of ways that we've gone into, I guess you can say, prep for our shows, with even transferring over into the bioregulators and the peptides. More peptides, I think, for you, right, Jen?
Yeah, peptides, I'm newer to the bioregulators, but I've experimented with a few. So I've dabbled a little,
Yeah. So we're going to share our stories and how we've transformed that, the things that we've done. And to be honest with you, I mean, I think we're like fine wine, Jen. I mean, we're just aging beautifully here.
I couldn't agree with you more, Adrian.
I mean, girl, Die Sexy all day.
Every day.
I mean, let's do it, right? It's all about prevention here. Totally. So I hope everyone gets something out of this. And, yeah, we're two ladies, but hey, guys, you know what? We got some info for you, too, that you might find intriguing.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, Jen, why don't you start with, your story and how you got into even competing to begin with and fitness and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, love that. So I'm 43 years old, very much perimenopause right now, but I'm sure we'll dabble into that a little later. So I'm 43 and was married and divorced. I was married for about 12 years, had 2 kids. This was like a little over 10 years ago. And prior to that, I really had no background in fitness other than the typical I want to jump on this diet pill because I can drop a ton of weight super fast. Like that's when the ephedras were really popular, the body solutions. You had I done the Jenny Craig point system and just like a series of yo-yo crazy diets. The phentermines, I think we've all been guilty of that if you're 40 and over, just being in that space and wrapped up into it. And I mean, obviously I was very ignorant because I didn't have a background in fitness then, but I would easily put on, I could put on 40 to 50 pounds at any given moment and then drop it by starving myself essentially and feel really great because I looked good in clothes, but I was so malnourished, irritable, sleep deprived, and wreaking havoc on my endocrine system, and just didn't know and didn't really care, quite frankly. So basically after my divorce, and I think this actually leads a lot of people into fitness because I feel like it was an escape for me. So I kind of joined a gym, right? And it was a group fitness class and found community support, like-mindedness. And it was really my escape from dealing with what am I going to do now with 2 kids and not having a career to fall back on. And I was a housewife and I just want out. So what am I going to do with my life? And I dove into classes and I was working out 5 to 6 days a week. And it felt really, really great. This was the first time that it wasn't like I was going to the gym because I wanted to lose weight. It was really, I was going to the gym because I wanted to kind of escape my reality just for a brief moment. So I think that fitness kind of snuck up on me in such an authentic way and a true way, because I could have all the endorphins that are released when you are training and just the cortisol levels that are managed when you're going through these tough times in life. So I ended up seeing my body start to change and I was like, wait a minute. I'm like not doing anything crazy right now. I'm not doing this body solutions or bee pollen extract or random crazy diet, you know. I'm just stressed and working out. And then I was blown away. And so I was able to get myself into the best shape I had ever been in. At that time, I was like in my mid 30s. And I was like, I really love this. Like, this is a hidden gem that I don't think people are aware of. This can literally transform someone's life. So that's when I decided, like, okay, I want to see what it looks like to compete. Like, I see all of these beautiful sparkly bikinis. Like, could that be me? Right? Like, I've got two kids. Like, I thought I was washed up old divorced housewife, you know, or a prior housewife. Like, is that really my identity? And so I was so excited, and I dabbled in my first bikini competition, and totally crash dieted, did everything I think wrong. You know, like, I was so depleted, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I went from 0 to 100, but I did it, checked that off of my list. And I had a wonderful coach at the time. And I was just amazed, and I got a lot of attention. You know, I think when you're competing and getting ready for a show, there's definitely the tendency to fall prey to all of that praise that you get, because everyone's like, oh my gosh, you're doing this? Like, oh wow, you're going to do that? Your body looks amazing. And so you're hearing all these compliments. And when you're kind of functioning in a space where you are completely depleted and empty of anything because you're going through a hard time in life, like, that feels good. So I felt like I definitely cleaved to that. And I continued competing for several years after that. But unfortunately, it took kind of an ugly twist for me, where I was no longer competing because it was like a bucket list curiosity. Can I do this? I actually became really addicted to that praise and the people putting you on a pedestal. And it wasn't self-serving anymore. It was really the only way that I knew how to diet down, because I got so used to looking at myself really lean after never having a physique like this ever my entire life, getting all of the praise, all the accolades, looking at my stage photos, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I want that look all day, every day, 365 days a year. And I began chasing that. So that was totally like a mental, like, terrible addiction that I had, where even though I knew how now to lose weight and body fat and live a healthy lifestyle, doing things the traditional tried and true way, I had warped it into something so ugly and so toxic and unhealthy. And it was very damaging to my body, my hormones, my mental health. And I really ended up suffering from some body dysmorphia as a result of that. But I'm sure we'll kind of get into that later. I do want to pick back up and tell you how I got here. And I'm like, okay, now I own this gym and I do health coaching, and like, I love this, right? So anyways, after I was able to kind of overcome all of that, I decided, like, I still did love fitness and I love the outlet that it brought for people's lives. So I decided I would be a private trainer. So I started training clients and changing their lives and helping them with nutrition, and kind of taking what I had learned and through my experience and applying that in my clients' lives and watching it change their lives. And then I was just like, I need to do this on a bigger scale. And I then, back in 2018, decided I was going to open Hardcore Fitness in Agora Hills, California. And the rest is kind of history. I just opened Westlake Village, California, about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And I absolutely love it. Like, I eat, breathe, sleep fitness. I see that my methodology is always going to be more lifestyle, longevity, not quick fix fad diets for people, just because it's not sustainable. I know, like, I lived that and it works. I'm not saying that they're bad, right? I just feel like they're not for me. And so how I want to build my community and culture in the gyms here is definitely having it mirror kind of where my heart is. And my heart is teaching people how to live long and live healthy and sustain these results and be lean without having to do anything that we're going to regret down the line, that's going to piss our body off, because it really does take a toll. So that's
Absolutely.
here I am.
Absolutely. And it's funny because I think I'm so far the only one that I can say I've always been super lean my whole life. So for me, it was when I got into the gym, I realized I was strong. I just realized it was like just I was strong, but tiny, always tiny. So I kind of like you stumbled into it. Like I was told for years to get on stage. And I'm like, I'm too small. I'm too small. I'm too small. I'm too small. Well, in 2013, when they started bikini, I had said, whoa, I can do that. Right. So I was actually the first natural Ohio or natural, well, I don't know if it's natural Ohio. I don't know what they call that, but the Dave Lieberman show. I did the first bikini competition ever here, and I actually won it. Now, what's funny is I had no idea about nationals or anything like that. So I was just competing to like you said, like this is fun. I never got addicted to the praise or anything. That was something that I never paid much attention to. But it was like, okay, I look like this. I like wearing sparkly bikinis and heels and being pretty. Needless to say, you guys, the worst day ever is stage day. I hate stage day. I hate it. I hate the makeup. I hate the spray tan. I hate the heels. I'm like, why can't we just go out there barefooted like the guys? I don't understand. So, but I loved my free pictures. I'm like, I work, this is how I train. It's my lifestyle. It's what I do. I might as well get up there and get some free pictures. Like I can be ready for a show in 6 days. It was awful. Like that's how easy it was. Um, so for me, I never got into the diet pills or anything to lose weight. It was always, what can I do to hold on to my weight? You know? So it was very hard putting mass on and I won't get into details here, but it was restoring my gut that actually put my weight on. I put 9 pounds of mass on in 1 year. In
Wow.
1 year, after my third gut rehabilitation program or protocol, I guess you can say, that I put myself through. And then I actually went from normally around 17% body fat, and now I'm anywhere from like 9 to 7, pretty much all year long. And that's just how I roll. And it's not like, I mean, I'm super healthy. Everything I do, same as you, is very health conscious. And anybody who knows me, follows me, listens to this podcast knows that everything is built on growing old without disease. Let's be real. So I kind of stumbled into it, but yeah, it was the opposite for me as far as the weight thing. So there are those that are out there that are like me too. It's either end of the spectrum. It's like we're black and white right now, which is kind of cool to hear how things worked, for
And
each
it's
of us.
funny because most of the time whenever people hear like, oh, well, my problem is the opposite. I have a hard time gaining weight. And I want to guess that the first reaction you usually will hear is, well, I wish I had that problem. But I work with a lot of clients, and it is equally as challenging to keep on and build weight when your metabolism is so fast, or maybe you have some kind of gut impairment, right, that needs healing, as it is to drop body fat. I mean, my son's metabolism goes like 1,000,000 miles an hour. I can't shovel enough food into that young college male mouth of his. But so the struggle is totally real on both ends. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why when people say, oh, you're so skinny, I'm like, I'll kill you. Like, don't say that word. That's such a bad word,
I hate that
Um,
word.
it's
I
such a
don't
bad
think
word.
people get it.
And
Like,
you
I don't
know
want
what? You can say it's genetic, but here's where I say that it's not always genetic because my whole family is huge. And then there's me, and then my girls are also smaller. I have one that's 31, I have one that's 22. We don't get fat, you
to.
know? but that comes from gut bacteria. See, this is what a lot of people don't realize, right? So for me, it was that I was malnutritioned because I had gut dysbiosis that I needed to address. So my muscles weren't able to really
Uptake
build.
nutrients. Yeah.
You got it. You got it. And my training never stopped. Like I was the girl, the crazy one that was like 7 weeks into a 14-week diet for show and had 7 weeks to go. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to do a strongman competition. Great. Let's do it. You know? Yeah.
Wild.
So I never felt that depletion or anything like that. I mean, I can tell you, I think the lowest calories I got to getting on stage was about 2,800.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
wild.
yeah, and I don't eat bad food. I don't eat
Yeah.
anything that's not grown out of the ground or has eyeballs, right? So it's a lot of food in a
Yeah.
day to consume. But that's where you go from that starvation side of it, if you will. But again, each person's different, and your whole body changes the way in which you need to do a protocol. And that's why I think it's scary sometimes when, we talked about this before we started recording, which is you get so many people that have this dream of being on stage, and they find somebody that, oh, look, I won a show and that makes me a professional. Well, now I'm an IFBB pro. That makes me a professional. And it's like, no, it doesn't. It makes you good at understanding what it takes to get there in the sense of your body.
Yeah.
But I can attest to this. Outside of my last few competitions, I did everything myself. And the reason I actually hired a coach, a friend, actually more so than a coach at the time, um, was because I didn't feel like dealing with it. And I had become more keto and carnivore. So I was like, okay, I want to do a show. I don't even know what to do because I don't have carbs to cut out. Right. And I
Where are
don't do
your
cardio.
levers? We can't pull on them, Adrian.
Right. And I don't do cardio ever, ever. So it was like, okay, what are we going to do? And he's like, I don't know. Let's have fun. And I'm like, great, let's do this,
Yeah.
So I did, and it was great. I mean, you would crack up if you knew what I ate getting on stage and the amount of fat I was consuming, but that's a whole nother podcast, I think. But it goes down to find a real coach, and a real coach is somebody that has had multiple people hit that stage. This is all they do, not somebody who's like, well, this is what I do and this is what I've done. And be cautious of getting that caloric intake down too far, because that rebound is awful. And a lot of people, I can't even say females anymore, but people, competitors, like you said, chasing that. I mean, you're talking to somebody who's lean all the time, but when you go from 9 to 7 to like 4 down to sometimes even 1%, just because I'm like, I don't care if I'm a bikini girl. This is a bodybuilding show and I'm going to be shredded to the core, right? And I'm telling you, you get up there and they're like, don't even flex because you're going to be too big for stage, too big and too hard. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, totally.
But you put on, for someone like me, you put on 2 to 3 pounds and you feel like you put on 15 to 20, right? And so I had to get away from that for a while. So I don't compete anymore in bodybuilding just because of some of the other stuff, the politics and things behind it. But I don't want to get into that. That's unimportant. But caution to those who are looking to do this: find somebody good and understand. And if they drop you right after a show and don't teach you to backwards engineer this, bad coach. Find another coach to backwards engineer you ASAP. We'll say that.
100%.
So yeah, I've owned my gym now 22 years, getting ready to open a much bigger one with, I hate to use this word, but a wellness center in it and all that. But because I like this whole, we'll call it biohacking again, another word I dislike, but everyone knows what that means. So Jen, let's get into, you kind of mentioned a little bit about your biggest struggles, but like, where did you realize, where came a point to you that says, hey, you know what I've been doing to my body isn't helping? And when did you decide to switch the way you, how should I say, the way you competed as well as the way you took care of your body? Like what was that aha moment for you?
I would say it was I was probably 38, 39. And that's when I think all of that hormonal damage that I had done through these crazy extreme forms of dieting caught up to me. And now I was dealing with a thyroid dysregulation, hormones out of control. My cycles were all over the place. It was really all hormonal. So once everything, because I think that it always catches up. It doesn't pop its head up and like, okay, hey, red flag body, I don't really like this, so I just want to give you a heads up. No, it has this, like, it wreaks havoc. Like it's like a silent enemy when we're practicing lifestyle habits that are um are dangerous and not
Well, so
helpful.
let me say something there. Every dis-ease takes 10 to 20 years to show up. The symptoms are there before you get to know what it is. And that's where that awareness, body awareness comes into play and knowing something is off. But, unless you're working with somebody or you have your own feelings about it or you know your body well enough, they are pretty silent until all of a sudden it's like, hey, guess what? It's like that. It's like that slow drip of like something in behind the wall, right?
Yeah.
And you don't know it's there. And then all of a sudden you walk in the house and you're like, why is all this mold here? Why is my drywall falling? And then it's like, well, that's been there for like 5 years.
Yeah, yeah. And it's wild. So that's now you don't know what you don't know, right? So at that time, I was still, it wasn't like I had some crazy dumpster fire life, right? I was eating healthy. I was training and working out. After all, like I was a trainer. I did kind of try to maintain and live that life as well, practicing what I preached. But it was very shallow. It was very surfacey. And I didn't realize that there was a whole ocean that I can go scuba diving in. And I was still over here snorkeling on the shore, which is still very cool, right? Like it's still fascinating. And it's where I think a lot of health coaches, trainers, people in this field will start, right? You obviously don't get into this because you're not fascinated by the snorkeling. But then when you get to deep dive, which is what I did like towards the tail end when everything did catch up and surface, I realized that I had done some really major damage to my hormones. So I gained a bunch of weight. I couldn't get it off. It was so frustrating. I had explored different things like pellets because that was really popular. And for me, I'm anti-pellet just because of my experience, but I'm not, for those, find something that works. You're better off being hormonally optimized than not, right? So it's like whatever floats your boat. But I did that. I gained like another 12 pounds in 4 weeks, but I knew that I had to correct my hormone imbalance. That just wasn't the right delivery system for me. So I do think that it's really important, especially as a woman, because it's kind of like herding cats when it comes to our hormones. It's not so cut and dry where, dealing like my male clients, when we're coaching through hormones, it looks very different versus like your female where it's like, wow, we're just all over. It's like whack-a-mole, so I did find out really quickly, 12 pounds and 4 weeks later, that the pellet system was not for me. And couldn't really do anything about it, unfortunately, because it's not like I'm going to have someone surgically remove it because it is kind of invasive. So had to kind of ride that out. And then was finally able to optimize my hormones through methods like delivery systems. Like I prefer injectable testosterone, oral progesterone, injectable estradiol. Like that worked for me. Now after that, I watched my body literally change. So that was really the aha eureka moment for me, is when I realized this is so much more than just nutrition and exercise, right? You can be doing all the right things physically in terms of output. You can be consuming all the right things internally, right? But there's this whole like system here that if it's dysregulated in any way, whether it be your gut biome, whether it be your hormones, whether it be your thyroid, right? Like all of these things that it's like the CEO for your whole body.
Well,
And
not to
so
mention the stress that that puts on your body. People don't look at stress. We don't realize what stress is. I mean, yes, eating a bad diet, all that stuff is stressful, but you weren't even doing that. And you were getting the stress on your body from a hormonal imbalance. Like,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna say this, ladies, fight for that HRT.
Yes.
Girls, fight
Preach, girl.
for it. And I'm gonna tell you this, do not let them tell you you cannot have testosterone. If they tell you that, you leave, because I have seen much more benefits on health. And I mean, when I say health markers, I'm talking about arthritis, I'm talking about heart disease, I'm talking about brain issues
Depression, how
from,
about that one?
how about the desire to, like, I don't know, have sex, be
Oh, there's
motivated,
that too.
right? Migraines,
Yeah.
like what? Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't even want to do anything, and fight for it. That's all I'm gonna tell you, is fight for it. I'm slowly coming across more people that I can send my people to get it, but I'll tell
Yes.
you, it's so difficult to get it, but so important. And I think that the biggest thing when I see that, male or female, it doesn't matter. The best way to keep your body dying sexy is
Yes.
hormonal
Mhm.
regulation. Hormonal regulation, right?
Drop the mic.
There you
Totally.
go. That's
Yeah,
it.
but you're so right. I mean, I could count on one hand, actually less than that. I have 3 resources that I can send my clients to. Um, and that's really sad. It is such an underserved space, especially for women. And one of the things that I'm finding is, even if they are able to find a doctor that's willing to put them on hormone replacement therapy, it's always in the absence of testosterone. It's like testosterone's taboo. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Like, well, I was told that my doctor says that's for men. Like, wait, what?
So in weight
Okay.
training, right?
Like, in all of the 15 minutes spent on the hormone subject when doctor was
Yeah.
in med school, right? So I think that that's hugely problematic too, is that once you are able to find a doctor, make sure, like, hey, your body consists of those 3 major hormones are going to be your big drivers. You had testosterone, in your 20s, in your 30s, in your, like, what do you
Like your whole
mean?
life.
Yeah, hello. Exactly. Like, it's very much, it's like a perfect system. It's kind of like, when you treat like your pool with the chlorine, right? It's like this perfect little concoction. And if you leave out one of those elements, you're going to have algae all over your pool. You know what I mean? And be like, where did I go wrong? You cannot treat your hormones in the absence of another. Like, you
No.
can't.
And women have more testosterone than estrogens. I
Yeah.
don't think people realize it. We just don't have levels of a man, but we have more testosterone than estrogens in our body. And like you said, they all go together, because
Yeah.
you can't, just like men that are more educated, that are also trying to get optimized, understand the importance of estradiol and
Yes.
estrogen. Yes. So it's not just androgens, estrogens for male or female. It's finding the right person, and like you said, that right mixture for each of us. I I'm surprised you have 3, because I have right now like 1, working on a couple other. Okay. The other thing is what state you live in, because
Yeah.
you mentioned getting injectable. I have searched high and low in Ohio to get injectable, and there's no compounding pharmacy that has the equipment to do it. So there you go.
Yeah. So that,
Yeah.
and that's really sad, because in California there's so much red tape also. So you can only get compounded um, testosterone with cottonseed oil, which is highly
Oh,
inflammatory. Yeah.
yeah.
And it's like, well, why? Like, I cannot find, like, it's ridiculous.
But you
I
know
mean,
what? I'll say this. In that case, I would go to the cream, because it's not worth that slow drip of inflammation, because like you said, it builds up. And then in 10 years, you're going to be like, why is my liver like this? Why is this like this? And you're like, oh yeah, cottonseed oil, right?
yeah.
So I would almost switch over to a cream at that point. But I mean, yeah, ladies, gentlemen, fight for that hormone.
100, it will all, like, you won't even realize how many issues will self-correct as a result of just not being super physiological. Like, we're not looking to be crazy bodybuilders, right? And I think there's also an association with hormone replacement therapy and like being Arnold Schwarzenegger like, and big and buff,
No.
or for women especially, their fear of being like a man, quote unquote. Like, I don't think there's anything masculine about you or I mean,
No.
I can rock some heels and look and feel great and sexy and amazing, and I would die without my testosterone.
I'll tell you something else I just stumbled into. So, I got my last. So I've been on the same protocol basically for about a year now. Okay, I'm 49 by the way. So I've been on this protocol for like I said about a year. So I just got my blood levels done, and my testosterone was like 363, and I'm like, oh, WTF, right? And I noticed my voice getting a little deeper just in the last little bit of time. And I'm like, oh no. So I'm dropping my testosterone usage, and I'm like, what is going on? Well, dummy me, I was taking the bioregulators for my ovaries at the same time.
Oh.
So, ladies, let's talk about this for a second. The bioregulator for the ovary, because I'm still kind of peri. So when I was giving my ovaries what they needed, that support, they were working. Girl, they were working. They were like, yay, dust the cobwebs off, girl. I got this. So I didn't put two and two together until it was about a month after getting off the last package of the capsules, because bioregulators are in pill form. And I noticed my physiological symptoms were going away. And I'm like, okay, this is crazy, because now my testosterone, when I decided to bring it down, I was usually, as you know, morning and evening dosage. I was doing it every other day, one of them at nighttime. That was it. And I was like, okay, this is crazy, right? So once the bioregulator kind of worked its way out, I guess you can say, I still have not gone back up to the amount of testosterone that I was at. The amount in there is less, but I don't need as much. But everything else kind of went back. So I'm like, you know what? I have another client right now that I'm trying this, because she's in that state also of, and I also get all the symptoms of a cycle again. I just haven't started completely
Wow.
bleeding yet.
Mm-hmm.
But what's cool is one of my clients is having a hard time with HRT, and she's on good sources of testosterone, estradiol, progesterone, but she can't quite balance it. And I'm like, you know what? I wonder if she's one that her ovaries just need a little bit of a hug, and her body will do what it needs instead of giving the full replacement. So
Right.
we're actually going to start that with her and take her off of the testosterone for sure, take down her estradiol, because her estrogen is what she has the hardest, her estradiol is what she has the hardest with. So I'm like, you know what? And she keeps having some breakthrough bleeding as well. And I'm like, you know what? Let's just give those ovaries a hug for about 3 months and see. She may not need any
Right.
of the HRT right now. So this is something that might be a good thing for women that are afraid
Yeah.
of doing the replacements or can't get the replacement,
Definitely.
and we both have access to great companies that have those. If you guys want to know about that, we'll talk about it, or you can reach out. But yeah, the bioregulator for the ovaries has been a game changer as far as how I'm going to utilize it in the gym a little bit better, or with my clients a little bit better, or differently. But that's something to keep in mind for those that have any issues or are afraid. Let
I'm
your
glad you
body.
said that, because I would love to try that, because in my mind, like, I want to take my testosterone as high as I can
Yes,
as long
yes,
as I still keep feeling good,
yes.
right? Because it's been such a game changer for me. So but again, I'm still of the same idea that less is more, right? So if I could utilize less endogenous hormones by incorporating these bioregulators, that's amazing because this is actually healing systems in our bodies and allowing them to function at a higher level because there's something broken or we're missing something. So I'm really excited to try that personally.
Well, here's another one you might want to start into first. Remember, there's the HPO axis, right? So I don't know if you were ever on the pill, but anybody that was ever on the pill, you're going to have a disrupted HPO axis, which is hypothalamus pituitary ovary axis. Okay. So the first thing, I've been on every bioregulator that they make. I started them about three or 4 years ago, and I've been on all of them. Right now I'm on the central nervous system one. Yes, because we need that too, ladies. But taking the hypothalamus and the pituitary bioregulator so that your body, your brain understands how to grab those hormones and utilize them properly as well.
Oh my gosh, you're getting me so excited, Adrienne. I'm going to go to our source and I am thrilled about this.
Yeah.
No, because I think that's what I say. It's so funny because doctors no, they won't put you on, they won't even run your labs to check your hormones. I had to fight my doctor just to run my damn labs. I was like, really?
Well,
Like I pay for insurance. And she's like, well, your hormones are going to fluctuate. They're supposed to decline when you age. So I'm not going to write a script for you to check your hormones. Your insurance isn't going to cover it. And I was pissed. So anyways, we can stay on that subject forever. But my point is that I totally forgot my point because I can spiderweb like that. And I'm like,
that's okay. You were talking about
So they will put, a doctor won't give you freaking hormones, right? But if I sent when I sent my daughter in for a pimple, when she was a teenager, guess what? Where's your phobia of hormones there? Like you're gonna blast my kid full of hormones because she has a pimple on her face? Like, stop. She's 11 or she's 12, right?
I have my youngest girl I've had on birth control pill was 9 years old.
Unbelievable.
Yes, 9 years old. And here's what people don't realize. Those girls that get on it that young never have a real ovulation to set their hormones up. Like, let's think about that.
Awful.
Right?
Yeah.
Because just when they're getting ready to have their rhythm, and I said, well, why is she on it? Well, her periods were irregular. First of all, she's 9. What WTF with the fact that she's having a cycle at 9?
Yeah.
We won't get into the food
hormones in our food. What?
Girl, no, we're not allowed. Jen, we're not allowed to say that, okay? But I was like, oh my God, okay, first of all, let's talk about that. Second of all, she's never, of course, she's 9. She's had no ovulation happening. She's not dropping an egg yet, even if she's bleeding during her first cycle. Maybe she was. Let's just say she was. You don't think that her body's trying to figure out what that means?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, but like you said, I have women that are going through menopause that will get back on, the doctor's solution is a pill. Why are you giving her a pill, but you won't give her real HRT? You're just giving her this synthetic shit that's causing her gut to have dysbiosis. She's got an overgrowth of yeast now. Now her hypothalamus pituitary ovary axis is all messed up. Her hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis is all messed up. We wonder why her thyroid's screaming all the time. You're not fixing it. You're giving a very bad, unsticky, dirty Band-Aid for a slice in her midsection. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it's treating the symptoms, and it's like, wow. We just need to replace the tire. We can't be patching holes all day long and expecting our cars to run for long distances.
Yeah, and I will say this, because you did mention earlier about being a dumpster fire. Like, ladies, if you think that taking HRT is going to all of a sudden miraculously make you thin and look a certain way, no, you do have to do the work as far as the food goes. It is important, and it's important to eat for you. But I will say this again, because I'm a full circle kind of girl. Not only does the liver create and process and get rid of your hormones, but so does your gut. There's particular bacteria strains that you need in your gut to actually utilize that testosterone, to utilize that estrogen. So the whole body works in harmony with each other. You can't separate them. And what my big thing is here to do is to teach that. But you do want to make sure everything is in line. And sometimes let's make sure that we cross all of our T's and dot our I's. Sometimes we do want to eat shit food because our hormones are off. So chicken or egg, I don't know. Each of you will be a little bit different. So figuring that out is something that I would love to say your medical practitioner should help you with, but they won't. So again, there's sources out there, guys. I mean, I'm one of them, and Jennifer can definitely get you guys on the right path as well. So Jen, we could stay on hormones all freaking day.
Oh, I know. I do want to tell you though, really quickly before you about the bioregulators. So the one that I have tried is Ventfort.
Yeah.
Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, for the blood vessels.
So I have had genetic varicose veins on my leg, right? And it's right kind of on off to the side of my shin area. So it's very much in the front of my leg. Like, it doesn't look amazing. They're big, swollen, can be painful at times. And I ran a Ventfort protocol. I was shocked. Okay. So ladies who have varicose veins, short of going in to get that procedure done where they basically cauterize your vein, because I went in for a consultation, and as I'm standing there and they're doing the ultrasound on me and I'm looking at my poor valves, in my vein, and they're describing how they perform this procedure, I damn near passed out. I had to sit down. I broke out in cold sweats. Like, it made me so sick, just the idea of them running this thread like laser in my vein. Like, oh my gosh, like, say less. So anyways, ran a protocol of Ventfort, did that for 2 months. Unbelievable. I would say that now, is it gone? No, but I have no pain now. And I would say, in terms of the aesthetic swelling and how terrible it looked, I would say it was like a 10. Okay. And now I would say it's probably like a 3. Okay. So the integrity of my vascular system improved so much. And I only ran that protocol once about a year ago. So I'm really excited to dabble and explore some of these different bioregulators for sure. And incorporate that.
And I'll say this for the Ventfort, I would do it again, and I would do it once every 3 months for you for a year.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Also increase your olive oil intake, and even possibly get the fatty 15. Boom.
Oh, okay. Amazing. Yeah. I just bought a great olive oil, high polyphenols, doing a tablespoon of that a night. And I just started that recently. So, okay. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. I'm going to have the perkiest, happiest ovaries. I'm going to have the sexiest legs.
And your brain will be functioning.
There's that too. We definitely need that.
Yeah. Nothing works without the brain, babes. Nothing.
Yeah. Nothing. Yeah.
So when you were in this whole whirlwind of, using the dietary products and all that stuff, and did you ever get into first stage into the anabolics at all? Did you get into that at all?
Anavar, yes. And that was about it for anabolics.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what has been your experience with switching over from using the Anavar even to using the peptides that you were using? And what peptides did you use?
For the most recent show that I did?
Okay. Or, yeah, as soon as you started using them in general.
Yeah. So, okay, funny story. So it had been about 5 years since I had competed. And then last year, I was like, you know what? I'm just watching how my body is now changing from the inside out, instead of prior, it was like the outside and just killing my inside. Now it was like watching the byproduct of focusing on my internal health morph my body into something like amazing. So I was like, I'm going to try competing this time. I'm going to coach myself. I'm going to do my own diet. I'm not going to overtrain. I'm barely going to do cardio. and I'm going to use peptides only. I'm going to be loving to my body. And I freaking crushed it. Like, why did I look better on stage in my 40s than I did in my 30s? Like, it didn't even make sense. I came in so much leaner. I mean, and I didn't have to like, and I was like, not depleted. I wasn't irritable. I wasn't, malnourished. I was hydrated. I didn't cut my water. I was shocked. I was like, hell yeah, I could do this all day. Like, and I feel like but I'm like you, like I hate show day. Like I hate the tan, I hate the bureau, everything. Like I hate it all. But whatever, it is what it is. You get your pictures, which I love. And that's why I'm like, I have a smile on my face because I'm like, dude, I did that thing. And I did it in such a way that I optimized my mitochondrial health, my hormones, my thyroid, like everything was wonderful. And then I allowed myself to get into this low body fat percentage. For me, I think I only got down to I would say maybe 10% body fat, but my normal, maintenance, like right now I'm probably sitting at 18% to kind of give you perspective. So at 10% body fat, I was super lean. And I wanted to make sure that I was only there for a short period of time. And just from the mistakes of the past, I knew really quickly I needed to reverse diet, bring my body fat back to what it felt is its homeostasis, right? Because like you said, everybody's body is so different, right? So I need to bring it back to that like parasympathetic state as quickly as possible and really nurture my mitochondrial health and be loving to my body so that I have an immune system. So, right, so that I don't dysregulate my hormones, right? So like not living in these super lean spaces, but for short periods of time, like totally fine. We can totally do that. Like you said, your 6 days, if I wanted to compete, I could literally be like, okay, I have 2 weeks. I'm like, cool, I could do that, right? And I carry more body fat than you do, but I still know I can pull on levers and bang it out in 2 weeks and be just fine, right? And not have to do anything super drastic. Okay. Yeah. And I think that's the beauty of when you finally are, I hesitate to say dialed in, but yes, dialed in, because it's always changing, right? So as we age and as we optimize certain things, like you mentioned, like you optimized your ovaries using bioregulators. So now you're not having to dose testosterone as high because it's having a wonderful effect on your own body's natural production. So it's like, as we learn and discover these hacks that are healing different systems in our body to do what they naturally would do prior to being, impaired, then I think that protocols definitely change as we age, even when we are in great health. So I definitely think that, this all of the peptides, all of the bioregulators are that is the fountain of youth. It is, yeah. If you're willing to put forth the effort and you have the courage to break away from what we've been pre-programmed to thinking, and you actually take your health into your own hands, you can change your life like in amazing ways. So yeah, I loved using them. My last prep, I was healthy. My husband was like, babe, okay, so where are we going for your cheat meal after your show? You've got to be starving. And I was like, I don't really actually care. Like, I don't know. I'll just have my whatever, like a steak and potatoes. And he's like, babe, are you serious? Like, who even are you? We used to go and like, you'd have a ton of alcohol. We'd have burgers, Yogurtland, blah, 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 like all the things. But that's because how deprived I was. This was the first time I didn't have to have a cheat because I cheated my whole way through. I felt that way anyway, because I still lived that like 90% eating for my goals and 10% eating for my palate type mentality, even during the last week leading up to my show. I think I had an Oreo cookie milkshake from Baskin Robbins that a couple days prior, and it was fine. I didn't really care. I I was lean as all ever. Like,
Mhm.
I think, yeah. So
And
total game changer.
yeah, and I think that's it. I mean, like you said, it's that eating for your palate kind of thing. I get it. And I even if you use the idea of a cheat meal, like first of all, I'm always like, I am full after I get off stage. I'm like, I don't want, I mean, I didn't want to get into it, but I mentioned it earlier. But like for me, I'm like eating duck, I'm eating nuts, I'm eating, Brussels sprouts, a little bit of berries, and some honey before I get on stage. And everybody's cramming back there with rice cakes and jam, and their bellies are just getting bigger. And I'm like, oh God, the emulsification going on in the gut. Um, but like I'm not a cheat meal person.
Yeah.
I even tell my clients we'll call a refeed if you want to, but I mean, I usually typically I have yet to have a client that has come to me like, I'm starving, I need more food.
Yeah.
Ever. And
Never.
I've had clients for years, years. And they're just like, I can't finish my food. I can't finish my food. I'm like, that's okay. Just put it on your plate. Don't stuff yourself. I don't believe in that. They're like, well, what about cookies or what about this? And I'm like, great. I'll give you a great recipe. You can have a cookie every day. I really don't care.
Right.
And it blows their mind because, even when you think about setting somebody up for a cheat meal or a refeed, all they do is think about that day. Every day they think about that day. And I'm like, don't think about it. If you feel like you want a cookie that day, go get a blessed cookie, right? Don't
Yeah. And it
be
could be a
thinking,
Tuesday, right? It doesn't have to fall perfectly
I
on a
know we
Saturday
do.
night.
So ridiculous. And the other thing is, it's like, okay, have a cookie or two, but don't eat the whole packet. I'd rather you
Yeah.
do that every day than to eat the whole packet at once. And what happens is your dopamine crashes, your oxytocin is low, your muscles are depleted of glycogen, you're fucking hungry.
Yeah.
And so you get it in that first bite, now your dopamine,
Yeah.
right? Now
Oh, yeah.
that's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You got it. And sometimes, if you're lean enough, which typically most people aren't, but they learn to be over time, like you said, the homeostasis, the human body doesn't like to be overweight. So they get that, and now they eat that cookie, and it's like, oh, that was good. It went with
Yeah.
your meal. It was
It's fine.
fantastic. You didn't have a dopamine rush because you weren't looking for it. You're not fixated on like Saturday, 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 Saturday. It's just right because
Yeah.
now Saturday, and instead of enjoying the time out and the date with your wife or your husband or your partner or your friends, whatever it is, you totally forgot about all that
Oh,
because
yeah.
all
All
you're
you
focused
think about
on,
is food.
yeah, all you're
Yeah.
focused on is filling your pie hole with all this shit that you can't
Yeah.
normally have. You know,
Yep.
People are like, well, can I have a burger? Well, sweetheart, you can have a burger every day.
Yeah.
Why can't you have a burger every day? What's it? It's a meat and it's veggies. If you can just either remove the bun or replace it with something like this, and they're like, "Oh, I said McDonald's is not real, but
Yeah.
it's still meat and veggies. It's a
Yeah.
burger, it's lettuce and tomato, it's onion if you're lucky, and you're eating potatoes for fries. Like, make your own fries at home. I don't give a shit. Like,
Yeah.
why does this have to be like a burger is against the rules or a cookie is against the rules? Or even if you want ice cream, like, sure, if you're really overweight, but even still, if you're a good coach and you know how to coach and you know how to make sure their systems are working well and you're
Yeah.
making sure that the insulin resistance is down, I mean, they can still do that, right?
Yeah.
And again,
And
it's all
what's
dependent on each person. But
yeah.
I don't like that stupid shit. But yeah, I was
Yeah.
the same way. I'm like, dude, I just want to go upstairs and eat my elk steak and like coconut oil, shower, like spray me down like an elephant,
Oh,
right?
first
Because
thing.
I am like, I
Yeah.
love the shower afterwards. It'd be great.
Oh, yeah.
And I just want to chill. Like, I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to do
Yeah.
anything.
But that's what's so cool about once you can optimize someone's metabolism through focusing on healing all of the other systems, right? And your strength training and you're not eating McDonald's and you're eating real food, you have so many liberties, right? But you have to get there, like you said. Like, you can't just think that, okay, well, I'm going to do what Adrian said, and I'm just going to make an elk patty or whatever and have a burger every day and have a cookie every day, right? Like, that's not going to work, right? But once, like, gives you momentum that carries you. I can't tell you how many times I've got clients, and most of the time, like you said, they're under eating and they're like, wait a minute, I can't eat all this food. And I'm like, okay, well, we're going to do it because they're scared, right? They're scared they're going to gain weight because they bought into that lie. But oftentimes and they end up coming back and they're like, oh my gosh, I just dropped 5 pounds in a week this first week. I'm like, wow, how much inflammation were you holding? Right. Because now, and I always set the expectation real. I'm like, okay, the first week or two, we're going to drop a ton of weight together. Right. But I don't want that to be misleading for you, thinking that that's all body fat. We're going to change how you're eating. We're going to feed you more. We're going to be strength training 3 to 5 times a week. And you're going to immediately, your clothes is going to fit different. We're going to hydrate you. You're going to actually drink water, have your electrolytes. We're going to do all the good things, but you're going to lose a ton of weight really, really fast. But we're not going to keep losing at that pace week over week, because initially, a lot of it is just going to be that water retention, a lot of that inflammation coming down, which is still amazing, but once you're there and once you are able to get your body to that homeostasis where it wants to be in terms of your body fat, the beautiful thing about that is you can go on vacation for a week and eat for your palate and come back and eat fine and be fine, right? Like, I didn't lose lean muscle mass. I didn't put on body fat, right? It gives you momentum. It's like an insurance policy when you want to step outside of eating your mundane, day-to-day lifestyle meals, because it's a one-off.
Exactly.
It's a weekend, it's a birthday party, it's a vacation. Like, it affords you the liberties to do that when you actually are healthy, because you have a metabolism that's functioning, leveraging all of your lean muscle mass that you're preserving, protecting, feeding, nurturing, and loving.
Yes. And the other thing is, the only thing that I can say that can be genetic is your ability to utilize insulin properly, right?
Yes.
So, and that could also be a deficiency in minerals, but that's something you pay attention to. But like you said about the vacations and stuff, like every time I go on vacation, I come back leaner, right?
Yeah.
But it's because I'm not as stressed, right? I'm not working in the gym 16 hours a day, 4 hours at home with clients online, doing this project, doing that project, writing the book, writing this, doing this. Like, I get some time to be by myself. I'm still working. I always still work, that is. But I don't have that running around like I'm putting fires out all day. And
Yeah.
I'm eating more than I normally eat, which is hard. I mean, I get standing ovations in restaurants.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm that girl. I'm the 4 pounds of meat a day, 16 cups of vegetables, 40 grams of fat, and everything else I can put my hands on.
Amazing.
But it's all real food. It's
Yeah.
real food. And if you add those sprinkles in, you're good. But like you said, getting you back to where you need to be, getting the inflammation down, getting your systems to work right, getting your hormones balanced, that's where it all comes into play. And that's why it's like I watch a lot of I watch coaches, trainers, I don't know what you want to call them, put yo-yo diet their clients. And it's
Yeah.
like, so they lose the fat, they get, especially the girls, they get super skinny and they're miserable. They walk around the gym like zombies, the poor little things. And then they're like, okay, well, now we need to bulk you to put on muscle mass. Well, now that we've got muscle mass and you're a little bit fat, let's show off your muscle mass by bringing you down. And it never balances because they lose what they put on, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And the other people in the gym will walk up and be like, well, Adrian's girls don't ever get super skinny like that and look bad, but they just all of a sudden have a totally different shape. They've got muscle they didn't have. They're leaner on their own. They don't look like they want to murder anybody that says hello to them because they want to eat their spleen, It's like it's just not happening, And I think that it creates PTSD. It creates this fixation on food. Same as I said earlier about the picking a day to have your refeed. Like, it causes you to get fixated on things.
I was there. That was
Right.
me, literally.
Yeah, and I guess I'm fortunate in the sense I have never done that, never needed to. Mine was the opposite, but I still always instinctually ate cleaner. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's just that it is,
And I think that coaches aren't even running labs either, like some, right? Like, and that's another thing that I would say, if you are going to dabble in the competitive world and it is new for you, like, you need to know what your baseline biomarkers look like, so that if, like Adrian said, if you are working with a good coach that's going to carry you through the reverse diet portion of your prep, then it's also your biomarkers and bringing your body back to a parasympathetic state, because you need that, or you are going to do, you're doing more harm than good. It's you really are. I mean, but one, the cool thing about being back into that state, and even if you do have like a lifestyle where you compete pretty frequently, is that when you're checking your labs every 3 to 6 months, I recommend 3, because especially if you're working on changing something. But like, I was working and I did a protocol for just optimizing my mitochondria, right? And then I went too far and totally crashed my iron. Okay, big time. Like, in less, and I felt so fatigued. And I mean, you talk about not being, I mean, my iron absorption was tanked. And but here I looked healthier than a clam, still looked great, right? But had it not been for me being so well connected with how I feel and knowing my body and doing my labs as often as I do, I would have never known that. So for me to be in that very low iron state, I would have continued to rev my mitochondria into the like great, like I would have literally broken down. So I think there's a flip side of being super healthy too, right? Where you can overdo something, like you mentioned with the testosterone, like we can overdo it, also. So just because it's good, there it becomes like, anything that's good also has a fine line where it's now not good anymore.
And I'll say this, drawing your blood panels doesn't mean that you know what's going on. Like, you have to have somebody that knows how to read them and look at the numbers, because what medical practitioners consider normal, we don't. We like levels on or off the chart depending on which way you're looking at them. But also to know if one is a little bit off, but this one's big off and this one's medium off, like, what system is that really pulling? So knowing how to read, because I've gotten some coaches that do that. And here's another thing: if you're not competing, you're not on some crazy anabolic protocol that's altering things, I don't think 3 months is necessary, unless you're looking, like you said, if you're using bioregulators, peptides, things like that, and you want to see how they're working for you, by all means, that's a good idea. But if you're the Gen Pop, or you're doing a couple
Yeah.
things here and there, and you have a good coach, every 6 months, once a year is fine. But know how to really read them. I think that that's what happens. I've gotten clients from other people, and they're like, they have them drawing their blood every 3 months, and they're not even doing anything. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, why are you getting it every 3 months? And then you look at it and it's like, okay, well, did they tell you that your fat molecules were the small ones and not the big fluffy ones? Did they tell you that your heart is a problem? Did they tell you that your liver's not functioning right? And they're
Like,
like,
what are you
no.
working on? What are we correcting? Yes.
But they didn't know how to read it. So all they
Yeah.
cared about, and this was a big guy, and he was being starved. He was being starved. Um, and that's another thing. Even losing body fat at a high rate is very taxing to the body. So if you are somebody that is, let's say, obese, and you are losing fat, that's someone else also that you would want to pay attention to the blood work, because you're looking at how their body's getting rid of that fat, and is the liver able to get rid of it fast enough? Because I don't think people realize that when you have that much fat on your body, like, your fat is storing everything in your body that really shouldn't kind of be there, right? So as you start to shrink those, and they open up and start pushing that fat out, you can be very toxic. So making sure your detoxification system is set up to handle that is very good. Your liver, your kidney, your gut biome, you're going to the bathroom, God forbid, that's my favorite. So all of that comes into play as far as that blood work goes. Make sure someone knows how to read that blood work as well. That's
Yeah,
important.
and do your own research too, and don't just take their word at face value. I think it's important to be listening to podcasts like Adrian's, be a part of groups, do your own homework too, because at the end of the day, like you're kind of responsible for your own life, you know? And so I agree with you. Those ranges can be so misleading to people and make them feel like they're doing a great job when they're on a treacherous road, just because nothing was flagged in their Quest or LabCorp labs. You know, well, I'm in the green, so I'm good. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, when you're testing a bunch of unhealthy, the average range of unhealthy America, like, do you want to be below average of America's average? Like, wow. like,
Right, right.
like
You
that's
talked about you talked about your mitochondrial. I mean, I love that. I'm on Sloop SS31 right now.
yeah.
I haven't combined the BAM yet, but I will tell you this. My Sloop intake is like, I think I'm using like a baby dropper.
Okay.
It spun me way too. I mean, I could not. I got, girl, I lost 4 pounds in like less than a week, and I was like, okay, no, we can't do that, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I was suction cups, let me tell you. And I was like, well, can I just, is there a show available like this weekend?
Yeah.
But I had to bring it down. I had to bring it down. So what were you using for your mitochondrial peptides?
Yeah, so I was using the SLU, but this was before the BAM, right? So now when I integrate it and plan to integrate it again, because I'm cycling it, I do plan to do it with the BAM 15. But I was doing the glutathione injections with the NAD. I did some MOTS-C. I ran a cycle of MOTS-C right after my show. And I had used the SLU oral. I wasn't doing the I think you were you doing, are you doing the droplets
I
like
was doing the
oral?
oral as well. Yeah, I'm doing the oral
Okay.
as well.
So these came in capsule form. So I was doing that leading up to the show. So I actually stopped the SLU post show. So I didn't I was, my mitochondria was already spinning like crazy. So I was doing more the recovery side, the, bringing everything back into balance after the show, versus trying to rev it up. It was revving, girl. But I love SLU. I think it's incredible. But I definitely felt like that I put it in my system in overdrive for sure as a result of it, because that's when it was kind of like people were taking it and dosing it a little higher before I had, more of the information that surfaced that, oh, I've got to, like, there's a whole uncoupling side of my mitochondria that I have to focus on as well. So, and that's when I had discovered that I had just been pushing that gas pedal so hard that I think that that's what caused my iron depletion. But I corrected it, corrected in like a matter of 2 months. So that's what I kind of love about this, is that um, when you do know and you are so in tune with your body and you know when something's off, you can easily course correct pretty quickly, as opposed to when you don't have any structure to how you eat, you don't have a workout routine, you can eat, drink, and be merry because you're chronically inflamed. You don't know when something's off because you're constantly off, but when you're not, when something's off. So you can course correct and be proactive in those situations, which so yeah, so that's basically what I did. I kind of just ran the MOTS-C, cycled off of the SLU. I didn't even cycle off, I just stopped actually. So it was great and like no effects. But and yeah, I got everything back to par. So it feels good.
Yeah. And I think that's something that should be said too, is the SLU 332 definitely is not something, if you are a little unhealthy, you're probably not a good idea to start with that. You can start with something like an SS31, to kind of start regulating everything a little bit more. But you want to. I think for me, even though I was doing the SLU, I did it 5 days, and then I did the SS31 on the weekends. But
Hmm.
even for me, that ended up very quickly being too much for me. So
Yeah.
I ended up going. I'm not even doing 100 milligrams.
Oh,
Milligrams.
wow.
I'm doing like 50, and I do that only on leg day now. I don't even bother on the other days, and I do
Yeah.
legs 3 times a week. So you're looking at 3 times a week, and then I still do the SS31 on the weekend because it really does kind of bring me back down a little bit
Yeah.
from everything and just protective because I want to be protective.
Yeah.
Because I haven't gotten the one with the BAM 15 in it yet either. So,
Yeah.
and I
No,
may
I've
not
tried
even.
that one and I love it. So I feel great with it.
Okay.
But I do incorporate the urolithin A as well on the weekends. So that's kind of when I am running like a protocol that's a little higher and I'm doing the SLU like a Monday through Friday type thing. Then I did notice it was so helpful to do the urolithin A, the glutathione on the weekend, the SS31, like great. Those were all things that really helped support my body, and I felt very balanced.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I'm in a really good spot right now. But like I said, I use it hardly
Yeah.
anything.
And that's the cool
Nothing
thing. You
else.
don't always have to run these at like a full-on protocol. You could use them as a pre-workout from time to time. Like that's the so awesome.
Yeah, because I will actually do. I only need 30 IUs of L-carnitine IM, and I'm good to go with that as well. So those three together, the SLU, the conscious one, and the L-carnitine, and I am like, girl, ready to tear it up. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I'm like, where's
I
my
love
growth?
that.
Me too. I'm like, where's my
Yeah.
growth? Where's my growth? Where's my growth? Doesn't happen, but that's okay. I'm just a small girl. I've accepted this at this point.
Hey,
I still
that
look good
might
naked
be
and can
increasing
outlift
your
most men.
testosterone. Yeah. But that could be increasing your testosterone too, is the L-carnitine, which
Yeah,
I love. Like these are all very beneficial, I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what would be your big, like, ladies, this is something you need to do. Like, what is your personal message as a coach, as someone who's been through this, as someone that's done it all? You've been overweight, you've been on stage, you own a gym, you didn't work out, you did work out. Like, what is your message if you were to get to a younger you, even? Like, what would be your
Oh,
message?
I would tell myself, stop looking for a shortcut. Um, and I would tell myself um, to focus on my hormones and really fight for them. So I wish I had some really big, powerful message, but honestly, I feel like if I could tell my younger self, which is what I tell my daughter, is like we are going to be on top of your hormones and we're not going to look for shortcuts. We're going to actually be healthy, and the byproduct of being healthy is going to be the physique that you're looking for. And it's going to be sustainable and it's going to last a lifetime, and you're going to live long and be strong, and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. To go along with that fantastic message, because I think you've hit it right there. You cover those and you're good to go. Girls, get your hormones tested. Guys, even get your hormones tested in your 20s, because that's going to be the level that you want them to stay at when you start to go through that change of life. And here's something else to keep in mind. You should not know you're going through menopause except for your blood work should tell you. That's how you
Oh,
know you're dying sexy.
I
So
love it.
definitely keep that in mind, and get those for your daughters. Get them for anybody that's in your 20s. Get them because it's good. I've done that for my daughters. We're gonna.
Yeah, my son's 20. He's my youngest, and we have an appointment on Monday to run his labs, and you better believe we're checking his hormones. Not like I'm looking to supplement his hormones right now, right? But again, to give us that baseline so we have a reference point, because there are plenty of natural ways that one could enhance and improve your body's own production if you're catching it early enough, right? And if you have good habits in place, there's a lot of different things that can be done other than, as a
Uh-huh.
pre-hormone HRT.
And there's bioregulators. I mean, those are like game changing. It's so much better because it's not overboard. Even the peptides are safer. I'm not saying give them to young kids. Don't get me wrong, but there's other ways to give your body that help that it needs without being extreme with anything. But it all does start with what goes in your pie hole every day.
Yes.
I wish we can get away with it, guys, but no, we cannot get away with it. Um, all right. Well, Jen, thank you so much for being here. I think we're gonna have to do this again because we didn't even get to half the stuff we were supposed to. But
I know.
you know what?
This
We
is
got to
fun.
exactly what we were supposed to get to. How about that?
Amen, sister. We sure did. I love it.
I will put some show notes in here, guys, to teach you, or excuse me, teach you, show you guys where to get put the links in there for some of the bioregulators, the things that we talked about where you can get more information. I'll put Jen's information in there too if you guys ever want to get a hold of her. And you guys pretty much know how to get a hold of me. So there you go. All right, guys. So till next time, keep dying sexy.
Ow! Thank you for having me. This was amazing.
You are so welcome. Love you.
Mwah.